Hi and welcome back to Reddit Whispers. I've been sitting here for what feels like an eternity. The silence in this house a roaring testament to the life that's been fractured, the future that's been obliterated. It's funny, you spend 20 years building something, brick by painful, loving brick, and you think it's a fortress, an unbreachable sanctuary. 4 kids, a mortgage that felt like a mountain we were conquering together, family vacations that blurred into a sun-drenched montage of laughter and shared memories. And then, in the span of a single phone call, it all turns to dust. Heartbreak is a word that gets thrown around a lot, a catch-all for the sting of a breakup, the ache of unrequited love. But this is something else entirely. It's a physical sensation, a hollowed-out feeling in my chest where something vital used to be. It's the kind of pain that wakes you up in the middle of the night, your heart pounding a frantic rhythm against your ribs, the cold sweat on your skin, a chilling reminder that this isn't just a nightmare. I was out of town, you see. That's the irony that's been gnawing at me, the cruel twist of fate that I can't seem to wrap my head around. I was on the road for a week, a long-haul trip across the country for my side hustle, the one I took on to get us ahead, to build a bigger cushion, to make sure the kids had everything they needed, to plan for a future that now feels like a cruel joke. The irony is, I was out there, pushing myself to the limit all for us, for the life we were building, while she was driving 4 hours to a hotel to meet a man from her past. A man she had an affair with 10 years ago. 10 years. It's a decade of deceit, a silent, festering wound that I never even knew existed. The betrayal is a poison that seeped into every corner of my life, tainting every memory, every shared glance, every whispered "I love you." I keep replaying that phone call in my head, the sound of her voice, the initial frantic attempt at a lie, a story so outlandish, so ridiculously transparent that it was almost comical. She was going to surprise me, she said, meet me halfway. A 4-hour drive in the opposite direction for a 2-hour hotel stay. The numbers didn't add up, the geography was all wrong, but in her panic she grasped at straws, each one more pathetic than the last. And then, the admission. The confession that shattered the foundations of my world. The name of the man, a ghost from a past I thought we had moved on from, a specter I never knew still haunted the periphery of our lives. They had been in and out of communication for years, she said, a casual admission of a long-term emotional connection that she had kept hidden, a secret garden she had cultivated while I was tending to the life we were supposed to be sharing. He was married too, another layer of sordidness to this whole ugly affair. The thought of her, driving all that way, the sheer premeditation of it all, that's what's been eating away at me. It wasn't a spontaneous mistake, a momentary lapse in judgment. It was a calculated decision, a conscious choice to prioritize a fleeting moment of passion over 20 years of shared history, over the family we had created. The selfishness of it is staggering, a monument to a level of self-absorption I never thought her capable of. Divorce. The word came out of my mouth before I had even fully processed the implications, a knee-jerk reaction to the searing pain of her betrayal. But the more I sit with it, the more I know it's the only path forward. How can I ever look at her again without seeing him, without picturing her in that hotel room? How can I ever trust a single word that comes out of her mouth? The trust, the very bedrock of our relationship, has been pulverized, and there's no amount of apologies or promises that can piece it back together. I've already started the process. The real estate agent is coming tomorrow to look at the house. This house that was once our sanctuary, now just a collection of bricks and mortar that holds the ghost of a life that no longer exists. We have to sell it, of course. It's a marital asset, a tangible representation of our intertwined lives that now needs to be severed, divided, and distributed. The thought of strangers walking through these rooms, judging the scuff marks on the walls, the worn patches on the carpet, each one a testament to a life lived, a memory made, it's a violation. But it's a necessary one. This house is a monument to our shared past, and I need to tear it down to build a future. The kids. That's the part that twists the knife in my gut. They're older now, thank God, not little ones who would be completely shattered by this. But they're not immune to the pain, to the seismic shift in their world. How do I explain this to them? How do I tell them that the woman they've looked up to, the mother they've adored, has broken our family in a way that can never be repaired? The thought of their faces, their confusion, their hurt, it's almost more than I can bear. I feel a strange sense of excitement mingling with the grief, a flicker of something that feels like hope. A new life, a new energy. It's a terrifying prospect, starting over at this age, but it's also a chance to redefine myself, to build something that is solely my own. The heartbreak is a gaping wound, but I refuse to let it consume me. The money, the risk, the sheer logistical nightmare of untangling 2 decades of a shared existence, it's all overwhelming. But the alternative, staying in a marriage that is built on a foundation of lies, that's a fate far worse. I have to believe that on the other side of this inferno, there is something better, something real, something that I can build on a foundation of truth. The betrayal has shaken me to my core, but it hasn't broken me. It has ignited a fire within me, a determination to not just survive, but to thrive. This is not the end of my story. It's a brutal, unexpected plot twist, but it's a plot twist that will ultimately lead to a new beginning. I've sacrificed so much for this family, for her, and in the end it wasn't enough. But I will not let that sacrifice be in vain. I will take the lessons learned, the pain, the regret, and I will forge a new path, one that is built on a foundation of self-respect and honesty. The road ahead is long and uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, I feel a sense of clarity. The fog of her deceit has lifted, and while the landscape it has revealed is barren and desolate, it is also a blank canvas, and I am ready to start painting. The realtor will come tomorrow, and we'll talk about staging, about curb appeal, about all the superficial things that will make this house, our home, more appealing to strangers. And I'll smile and nod and play the part, but inside, I'll be thinking about the new life I'm about to build, a life that is free from the suffocating weight of her betrayal. This heartbreak is a crucible, and I will emerge from it stronger, more resilient, and with a renewed sense of purpose. The survival of my spirit depends on it. This is not just an update to a Reddit post. This is the first chapter of my redemption. The initial shock of her confession has given way to a cold, hard clarity, a realization that the life I thought I had was a carefully constructed illusion. The money we've accumulated, the investments we've made, the real estate we've acquired, it all feels tainted now, poisoned by the secret she carried for a decade. The house, our biggest asset, is no longer a symbol of our shared success, but a monument to her deception. The realtor's visit tomorrow feels like the first step in a long and arduous process of disentanglement, of surgically separating our lives, our finances, our futures. The thought of dividing everything we've built together, the endless spreadsheets, the arguments over sentimental value versus market value, it's a daunting prospect. But the alternative, continuing to live in a house that echoes with the ghosts of her lies, is simply untenable. I keep thinking about the risk I took, the financial risk of starting a side hustle that required me to be away from home for extended periods. I did it for us to accelerate our financial goals, to create a life of comfort and security for our family. And while I was out there, burning the candle at both ends, she was rekindling a flame with a man from her past. The irony is a bitter pill to swallow. All that sacrifice, all that hard work, all for nothing. The betrayal isn't just emotional. It's a betrayal of our shared financial future, a reckless disregard for the stability we had worked so hard to achieve. Her 4-hour drive to that hotel wasn't just a journey of passion. It was a journey that put everything we had built at risk. The debt we've accumulated, the mortgage, the car loans, the credit card balances, it all feels heavier now, a crushing weight that I will have to bear a significant portion of on my own. My credit score, once a source of pride, a testament to our financial responsibility, is now another casualty of her infidelity. I know that divorce will have a significant impact on it, another hurdle to overcome as I try to rebuild my life. The thought of having to start over financially, of having to rebuild my credit from the ground up, is a source of immense stress. But it's a challenge I'm willing to face. The freedom from her deceit is worth more than any credit score. The investment we made in this house, the years of mortgage payments, the sweat equity we poured into renovations, it was all supposed to be an investment in our future, in our retirement, in a life we would grow old in together. Now it's just another asset to be liquidated, another line item in a divorce settlement. The thought of having to find a new place to live, a rental, most likely after years of homeownership, is a humbling one. But it's also a necessary step in creating a new life for myself, a life that isn't defined by the four walls of a house that is no longer a home. I find myself consumed with annoying regret, a relentless, what if that plays on a loop in my mind. What if I had been home more? What if I hadn't taken on the side hustle? What if I had paid more attention, noticed the subtle shifts in her behavior, the flicker of distance in her eyes? But I know that's a dangerous path to go down. The blame for this lies solely with her choices, with her decision to betray the vows we made to each other. The health insurance, another logistical nightmare to untangle. For years, we've been on a family plan, a single, unified entity in the eyes of the insurance company. Now, we'll have to navigate the complexities of individual plans, another tangible reminder of our separation. It's the small, mundane details like this that bring the reality of the situation crashing down on me, the endless to-do list of a life being dismantled. My survival depends on my ability to focus on the future, to not get bogged down in the quagmire of the past. The heartbreak is still raw, a constant, throbbing ache in my chest. But with each passing day, it's being replaced by a steely resolve, a determination to not let her actions define me. The road to redemption will be long and arduous, but I am ready to take the first step. The realtor's visit tomorrow is more than just a business appointment. It's a symbolic act, a declaration that I am moving on, that I am taking back control of my life. I will not be a victim in this story. I will be the architect of my own a new beginning, a new life, a new energy. This is not the end. It's the beginning of my journey toward healing and wholeness. The betrayal has been a devastating blow, but it will not be the final word. I will rise from the ashes of this broken marriage, stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever to build a life of my own, a life that is filled with honesty, integrity, and a renewed sense of purpose. The pain of her infidelity is a constant companion, a dull ache that resides deep within my soul. It's a pain that is amplified by the sheer weight of our shared history, the 20-plus years we've spent building a life together. The sacrifice, the compromises, the endless juggling of work and family, it was all supposed to be for a common goal, a shared future. And now to realize that for the last 10 years, a significant portion of that future was a lie, it's a bitter pill to swallow. I find myself replaying our life together, searching for clues, for signs I might have missed. Were there moments of distance I dismissed as stress? Were there secrets hidden behind her smile? The regret is a heavy cloak, a suffocating weight that threatens to pull me under. I regret not being more present, not being more attuned to the subtle shifts in our relationship. But I also know that I can't live in the past, that I can't allow myself to be consumed by the what-ifs. The reality is, she made a choice, a series of choices that have led us to this point, and no amount of regret on my part can change that. The financial implications of this divorce are a constant source of anxiety. We have so much tied up together, our money intertwined in a complex web of joint accounts, investments, and debt. Untangling it all feels like an impossible task, a Gordian knot that I have to somehow unravel. The real estate we've acquired, the house, the small rental property we bought a few years ago, it all has to be valued, divided, and sold. The investment we made in these properties was supposed to be our safety net, our nest egg for the future. Now it's just another source of contention, another battleground in this emotional war. I worry about my credit score, about the impact this will all have on my ability to secure a loan, to buy a new car, to simply function in a world that is so heavily reliant on financial stability. I've always been so careful with our finances, so meticulous in my planning. And now, to have it all thrown into chaos because of her selfish actions, it's infuriating. The debt we've accumulated, the mortgage, the car loans, it's a shared burden that will now have to be divided. I find myself staring at our budget, the numbers swimming before my eyes, trying to figure out how I'm going to make it on my own. It's a daunting prospect, but I know I have to face it head on. My survival depends on it. I have to find a way to navigate this financial minefield, to protect myself as much as possible, to ensure that I have a solid foundation on which to build my new life. The heartbreak is still a raw, open wound, but I'm slowly starting to see a glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. The initial shock and anger are giving way to a quiet determination, a resolve to not let this break me. The betrayal has been a profound one, but it has also been a wake-up call, a catalyst for a change that, in the long run, I believe will be for the better. The road to redemption is not a straight one. It's a winding, treacherous path filled with moments of doubt, of despair, of overwhelming sadness. But I am committed to walking it, to facing the challenges head-on, to emerging from this stronger and more resilient than ever before. I've started looking at rentals online, a small, tangible step towards my new future. The thought of leaving this house, this repository of so many memories, is a painful one, but it's also a necessary one. I need a clean break, a fresh start, a space that is free from the ghosts of our past. I'm also looking into health insurance options, another practical step in the process of separating our lives. It's the small things, the mundane tasks that are helping me to stay grounded, to keep moving forward, to not get lost in the overwhelming tide of emotion. I've been leaning on my friends, my family, my support system. Their unwavering belief in me, their constant encouragement, it's been a lifeline in these dark times. They remind me that I am not alone, that I am loved, that I have the strength to get through this. This journey is not just about survival, it's about transformation. It's about taking the shattered pieces of my life and creating something new, something beautiful, something that is a true reflection of who I am and what I value. The regret will always be there, a faint scar on my heart, a reminder of the life that could have been. But I will not let it define me. I will not let it hold me back. I will use it as fuel, as motivation to build a future that is even better than the one I had imagined. The realtor is coming tomorrow, and I am ready. I am ready to close this chapter of my life and to start writing the next one. It will be a story of heartbreak, of betrayal, of regret, yes. But it will also be a story of resilience, of strength, of redemption. And I am the one holding the pen. The finality of it all is starting to set in, a heavy, unyielding weight in the pit of my stomach. The realtor came and went, her cheerful, professional demeanor a stark contrast to the somber reality of the situation. She talked about staging and curb appeal, about maximizing our return on investment, and all I could think about was the 20 years of memories that are now being reduced to a line item on a sales contract. This house, the epicenter of our family's life, is now just a piece of real estate, a commodity to be bought and sold. The process of untangling our lives is proving to be even more complex and emotionally draining than I had anticipated. The money, the investments, the debt, it's all a tangled mess that we now have to sort through, piece by painful piece. The betrayal has cast a long, dark shadow over everything, turning what should be a straightforward financial transaction into an emotional minefield. Every discussion about assets is fraught with tension, every decision a reminder of the life we've lost. My credit score, once a source of pride, is now a constant source of anxiety. I know that the divorce will have a negative impact on it, and I'm trying to take proactive steps to mitigate the damage, to protect my financial future. It's a steep learning curve, navigating the world of credit repair and financial planning on my own, but it's a necessary one. My survival, My ability to stand on my own 2 feet depends on it. The sacrifice I've made over the years, the long hours at work, the missed family events, the constant striving to provide a better life for us, it all feels like it was for nothing. The regret is a bitter taste in my mouth, a constant companion in the quiet moments of the day. But I'm trying to reframe it, to see it not as a loss but as a lesson. A painful, gut-wrenching lesson, but a lesson nonetheless. The road to redemption is a long and winding one, and I'm only just beginning to take my first tentative steps. There are days when the heartbreak is so overwhelming that I can barely get out of bed. But then there are moments, fleeting but powerful, of clarity and hope. I've started looking at rentals, imagining a new life for myself in a space that is free from the ghosts of the past. The thought of having my own place, of creating a sanctuary that is truly my own, is a powerful motivator. I've also been focusing on my health, both physical and mental. I've started running again, the pounding of my feet on the pavement a release for the pent-up anger and frustration. And I've started seeing a therapist, a safe space to unpack the trauma of the last few months, to begin the slow, arduous process of healing. The kids are my anchor in this storm. They are older, but they are still my kids, and they are hurting. We've had some difficult conversations that no parent ever wants to have, but we're getting through it together. Their resilience, their love, their unwavering support, it's what keeps me going on the darkest of days. I know that the road ahead will not be easy. There will be more pain, more challenges, more moments of doubt. But I also know that I am stronger than I ever thought possible. This betrayal has been a defining moment in my life, but it will not be the final chapter. I am the author of my own story, and I am choosing to write a new ending, one that is filled with hope, with healing, and with the promise of a brighter future. I am no longer just surviving, I am starting to live again. The new energy I spoke of in my initial post, it's starting to flicker to life, a small, steady flame in the darkness. It's the energy of a man who has been to the brink and back, who has looked into the abyss and has chosen to turn towards the light. This is my redemption, my journey back to myself. And for the first time in a long time, I am excited to see what the future holds. Thank you for listening this story. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. Click like and subscribe to the Reddit Whispers for more.